We're all set up and we're ready to go. Hi, I'm Rich. Welcome to another week of the Conditioning for BrAMS class. And this is primarily a class for people who've been referred here from the BrAMS department down at Southmead. So someone like Sophie or Olivia or someone along those lines has probably referred you here for this class. And what it is it's a chair-based, circuit-based workout where we just do one movement after one movement after one movement with the express aim of increasing confidence, increasing range of motion, increasing strength through certain body motions. There's also a little bit of coordination work as well, and if you've got some good music on in the background, then maybe it's also a good kind of get into rhythm kind of situation as well. Like I say, generally you should have found this place if you've been referred by the people at BrAMS. If you've not been referred by BrAMS, then just be aware that this is an online class aimed for the specific needs of those with MS. If you have any problems today, please refer back to the people at BrAMS, whether it's your nurses, your physios, your neurologists, whoever you're dealing with down there, any changing of symptoms and those kinds of things. Those are guys that you need to be made aware of those changes of those situations. Today, it's not about as many reps as possible, it's as many good reps as possible. So take that into account when you're working. If we move away from today's session and we're not sweating and we don't feel we've not had a workout, that's perfectly fine. We're building confidence, we're building muscle memory, we're building all this kind of code in the mind for the different movements and bits and bobs we're going to do today. Any situations pain-wise that you feel today, there are two kinds of pain. There's acceptable pain and there's unacceptable, okay? First and foremost, if you feel any kind of burn or slight kind of tingling within the muscles themselves, perfectly normal, perfectly fine when muscles are being worked. If we feel any sharp pain in the muscles or any pain in the joints, those are two kinds of pains that we don't want to feel at all. So what I would recommend at those situations, if you receive any of those, is take a step back, maybe lower the work level, maybe stop that exercise altogether if it's something that carries on hurting, and certainly refer back, as I said before, about that situation as well. But a little slight burning sensation, bit of tingling in the body, those kinds of things, perfectly normal and fine. Okay, that said, a couple of things you're going to need today. You are going to need a chair, as we can see. I would thoroughly recommend a chair with arms, okay? So if you've got a chair with arms, make sure you use them. You can see that I just brought mine in from the patio, that kind of thing. So I've got arms. Has to be sturdy. Not going to be able to, we don't want it slipping away from us if we put weight on it. We don't want it collapsing when we use it, those kinds of things, okay? Another thing you're going to need is a ball or a cushion or a cuddly toy, something along those lines that we can use to kind of not only squeeze between our legs, let's say, but also if we need to, and when we do some of the coordination things in a little bit as well. So you are going to need something along those lines to help us out there. You also may need a drink, something cold, something to help regulate that inner body temperature, those kinds of things. Maybe a flannel, wet flannel that you can just dab on your brow, whatever you need to do. You know, you may need something along those lines as well. Space, perhaps as well, you might want, and you may want to make sure there are no animals running around, all those kinds of things, getting excited. I think that's about it today. So we'll really just start with a warm-up and then we'll get into the main part of today. So if you've got some music, if you've got some tunes that you want to put on, pop those on in the background, give yourself a little ambience, give yourself a little bit of a kind of situation that you're getting to work and all those kinds of things, okay? But really, we're starting in the chair. The first thing that I want to point out is when I talk about posture, because I'm going to talk about posture a lot today, it's very key that we maintain a good upper body posture. So what I want you to think about is when you were like 6 or 7 years old in assembly and you had to sit up straight, you know, arms folded, sit up straight, that kind of situation. So when I talk about posture through movements today, I want you to think about that situation. The shoulders kind of pushing down towards your back pockets, Your shoulder blades themselves are squeezing down, trying to force their way into those back pockets, okay? So good posture throughout is what we're looking for. Oh, it is an online class. I should have said that. It is an online class. Obviously, you know you're sitting at home with the internet on. If you've got any messages you want to say hello or anything like that in the chat, you can do. If there are any problems with the stream, chat it along, put it down there. As you can see, my screen is just there. So that's when I look at it and I can see what's going on in the chat if there are any issues. There is a slight delay. It's about 10-second delay between what I say and what comes out on the stream. So just be aware of that. If you say something along those lines, it may take a little bit of time for me to check as well to see if anything's going on. There we go. We've already got someone saying hello. Hello, Mile. So, perfect. Let's go, shall we? So, upper body posture set to start with, okay? And we're just going to start from the bottom of the body, work our way up on one side, and then do the same on the other side as well. The whole time, good upper body posture. So we start right down at the bottom. We're going to start with our foot, okay? Ankle joints, we're going to get that mobilized to start with. So either rotating the toe, nice big circle with the toe. I'm going in one direction. Or you've got the toe on the floor and you're drawing a circle with the heel, okay? So it's either foot off the floor, circle with the toe, or toe on the floor and circle with the heel, okay? So we're just getting the biggest range of motion out of that joint as possible. Let's take it in the other direction as well. And it's always nice and controlled, regardless of what movement we're doing today. All right, next thing, drawing circles with the knee. Once again, it's the biggest range of motion that you've got today. So if we've still got feet on the floor, that's fine. Okay, just take it through the biggest range of motion you've got. If you've got arms on your chair, maybe you shuffle your butt forward a little bit so there's a little bit more space for that leg to circle. Maybe we're even picking the leg up for our range of motion today. However you're doing it, let's take it the opposite way as well. And it's important to know that I don't want you to drop the leg on that eccentric phase, okay? We're bringing it down slowly, so keep it in full control through your entire range of motion. Let's take it to the top now. So with the shoulders to start with, hand on your shoulder, and let's just take nice big circles with the elbow. Once again, the elbow's the one that you're making the circle with. Let's take it the opposite way. Nice big circles. And that shoulder's not kind of scrunching up towards the ears. It's still nicely separated from the ears and it's forcing its way into your back pockets. Now we'll bring our arms straight out and we're just drawing tiny circles with it, trying not to pull down the Christmas tree that my wife and kids put up the other night. And then let's go the opposite way with that straight arm to start with. Just tiny circles, the smallest circles you can do, and then into the hand on the shoulder with really big circles from there. Lovely. And then the wrist, pretending we're the queen for the day, waving to the people in the crowd one way. Take that wrist the opposite way as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start all the way down the bottom, just with the other leg this time from there. So once again, remember, it's either circles with the toe. That foot's off the floor, nice big circles. Or the toes are on the floor and it circles with the heel. And once again, you're trying to get the biggest range of motion out of that as possible. We'll take it the opposite direction as well. Before we bring it into that knee circle next. So once again, if you've got arms on the chair, do shuffle towards the end of your seat. And either your toes on the floor, the foot's on the floor. Try and make the biggest circle you can with your knee. Maybe the foot comes off the floor ever so slightly. Don't let those shoulders raise. Don't start leaning forward or anything like that. The key to any movement, okay, is always keeping good posture. So as soon as you feel like the posture is broken down, the movement's to advance. Bring it back a little bit so you can control the posture throughout. We'll take the knee in the opposite direction. We've done a couple on the knees. We've done a couple on the legs now. Let's take it up to the upper body. So once again, hands on the shoulder, rotating it round one way. Sitting up straight, you've just been told off in assembly. Nice big circles with the elbow this time. And then we're going to take that arm straight out to the side and do tiny little circles. Trying to keep it straight, as you see, up from the shoulder level as it goes. Nice and controlled. And then we'll bring the, we'll go the opposite way first. We're going the opposite way with it out and those tiny little movements before we bring the hand in at the shoulder and we go back into drawing circles with the elbow. And then into the wrist, waving to the crowds on the other side. Hello, hello. And then the opposite way with the wrist as well. Lovely stuff. Okay, so now we're going to start with a little bit of movement in the legs. And once again, it's how you feel today. It's what your range of motion is allowing you today. But we're looking for the most that you can get out of that range of motion. So I want the feet moving, okay? So in a kind of a forward motion. So it's either just heel raises, okay? If we've got a little bit more in the legs today, maybe we get steps, okay? Whatever the full range of motion that you can get out of the knee, basically, because you're leading with the knees on this. And we're just keeping the legs moving right now. So we're simulating the walk. That posture is staying upright. I don't know why I'm controlling my legs with my hands, by the way. Almost like they're on strings. But that's the kind of idea. So it's almost like a march on the spot. Okay, and now we're going to look into a little bit of coordination. Okay, see if we can do two things at once and all those kinds of things. Okay, so we're trying to keep those legs moving as much as we can as we go in to do a couple of other things. The first thing I want you to do is take both hands up above the head. And then they're going to twinkle all the way down. Those fingers are rocking like they were snowflakes all the way down. Forcing 3 things around the whole body at the same time. Let's go all the way high again. We've got those legs moving. Now those twinkly fingers are moving and then the arms are coming down at once. Forcing that brain to multitask. Good stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and bring our hands to the side. Right out into a cross type position. Nice slow step in, controlling those feet the entire time. You're going to take the right hand onto the left knee. And now take the left hand onto the left knee. I'm going to take both hands onto your shoulders. Going to take both hands back out to the side. And then in and out. Okay, in, out. In, out. Keep those feet moving. Remember, it's the biggest range of motion that you can. So now we've got a whole bunch of different things going at the same time. There's a little march on the spot. Those arms are in and out. We're going to do 2 more. Last one. In it comes. And out it goes. Lovely stuff. Okay. So today we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different movements that we're going to do. Okay. Each movement we're going to do for 45 seconds. And then we're going to have a 75-second rest before the next one. So during that 75 seconds, I'll introduce the next movement so we're ready for it, okay? And as always, our first movement that we start off with is our sit to stand motion from the chair to that stood up one. And we break it down just like we do with most of the different movements we're going to do today, is they'll all have different kind of challenge levels to make it more challenging for you today. All I want you to do is work at the level that you feel comfortable with today. Remember, your key piece of information through each one is always that posture. If you can do the movement with good posture, challenge yourself with that next little bit on the list, okay? So, sit to stand, real simple. We start in the chair, and all we look to do is raise the bum up and bring it back down. Okay, so notice that I'm using the supports, the arms of the chair to help raise my bum up out of the seat before bringing myself down. Okay, you're bringing the weight over the legs and then back down. Once you're happy with that, maybe we start to bring it all the way up to standing and then back down. The down part of this movement is just as important as the up. Control it slowly all the way down. If you're confident there, maybe then we look at the full kind of stand-up situation. Regardless of what you're doing, like I say, we're going for 45 seconds. Let me just start the old watch. And you're looking to do as many perfect repetitions as possible, okay? So 3, 2, 1, off we go. So those arms are there for support if you need them. Try and keep the elbows pointing behind you as you're pushing up onto your legs throughout. Okay, nice and controlled. Remember, try and find a rhythm. So if it's taking 1, 2 seconds up, 1, 2 seconds down. Okay, whatever time span you're getting up, see if you can take that same time span all the way down. Maybe we're going all the way up to standing, squeezing the glutes to straighten up, and then all the way back down. 3, 2, 1, lovely stuff. So first round done. And one of the things when you do these classes regularly, you'll notice is we always open with that one. I think it's the number one important movement that we want to get confident with, that we want to get our body coded up with, all those kinds of things, because sitting up, you know, and getting back down again to that seated position is something that we do a lot all day, every day. So the next one we're going to do is a twist. Okay, so we want bums on the edge of the seats, and those butt cheeks are going to stay on the chair the whole time. Feet firmly planted there, good posture, and you're being led by the shoulder. So the shoulder is going to take you round as far as you can one way, and then we come back and then we go the opposite way. All right. If you want to add a little bit more at the end of the twist, when you get to the end of your twist, take the outside arm across the body, and you are pushing it across the body to get a little bit more in your twist. Okay, so that's what we're looking to do. Remember that idea of good posture. It's the shoulder that's taking you round as far as you can, not the head. Okay, 3, 2, 1. We got 45 on the clock. Let's go. So every movement is nice, slow, and controlled. Okay, remember, once again, I talked about timing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Back to the middle. 1, 2, 1, 2. The longer you take to do each movement, the more time the muscle is under tension. So that means it's the more that muscle has to do throughout. That good posture throughout. And we've got 15 more seconds. So maybe that's time for maybe 3 more, because you're taking it really nice and slow. Remember, you've got the arms on the chair to help support you should you need them. That's what they're there for. There we go, there's time. So twist, great, nailed it. Let's take ourselves back to the legs again. And my feet are cut off a little bit, aren't they? What we're going to look to do here is heel raises, okay? So what we're looking to do is basically sitting up nice and straight, toes stay on the floor, heels come up as high as they can do. And what we're looking to do is, if I turn around just ever so slightly, are we in? Yeah, we're in. Okay, once you're raising up, we're holding it at the peak, okay, for a second or 2 seconds before we come back down, okay? So we are holding it, paused, and then back down. So once again, that posture is staying set. We've got a nice negative and negative. We've got a nice neutral spine, sat up in assembly, up, hold, back down. If we're comfortable with that in the seat, maybe you've got a work surface near you or a table. You've done this a couple of weeks now and you're happy to do it leaning over a table. You may be even able to do it off the back of the chair to lean on as well. Same situation, up, holding, back down. Okay, however you're doing it, off we go. 45 seconds. Once again, it's nice and slow. 1, 2, hold it. 1, 2. And we're pushing those heels up as high as you can. You'll feel the calves come into effect when you get to the top. Hold it there in that mild discomfort, and then once again, slowly back down. So think about your timings. 1, 2, held, 1, 2. Nice and controlled the entire time. If we're leaning over a table, 2 hands, the body weight is spread nicely, it's the same thing. Held, slowly back down. 1, 2, holding it, 1, 2, back down. There we go, end of round. Good. Calf raises, bringing those little calves into account. Okay, now is the first exercise that we need the ball for, or your prop, or your whatever that you're using. I've got John here. It's written as John there. Nightmare. So what we're looking to do with John, with your ball, with your pillow, with your cuddly toy, whatever you've got, is they're known as halos. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to hold the ball. Elbows will stay parallel to each other. Good posture, and what you're looking to do is draw that ball around the head. So it's orbiting the head. The elbows come as high as they can, all the way back round to that start position. And then once again, they drive up all the way around to the beginning back there as well. Posture is getting set. Those elbows are drawing nice big circles. They almost draw like a halo effect as you're going round, okay? And we're just going to take it nice and slow round one way, nice and slow round the other way, okay? Whilst holding on to the ball the entire time. Off we go, 45 seconds. That ball is orbiting the head all the way around one way and then all the way back. You've really got to really try. I've lost words there. You've got to really try to keep that posture in place. Don't let those shoulders drive up towards the elbows. Keep those shoulders passing down towards your back pockets. Both butt cheeks should stay firmly planted in the seat. And obviously keep a good grip on the ball. We don't want to lose the ball throughout this at all. Final 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. There it is, lovely. So that was our beautiful halo movement. And the next one we've got is the floor touch. Now, depending on weeks gone by, those of you who've done this before, we talked about, feeling uncomfortable where we were falling out of the seat, those kinds of things. So remember, the further you bring your hips to the end of the seats, the more challenging it's going to be on your balance. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, shift your hips back in the seat, do the floor touch over the arms, down the side of the chair, that kind of thing. All we're looking to do, and we'll bring ourselves around to this side position again, just so you can see what I mean, is wherever your hips are, remember, either firmly in the chair or at the ends of the chair to make it more challenging, you are touching the floor under your hips. So I can see here's my posture, and I'm coming down to touch under my hips and back up. It's not a lean forward, we're not folding forward, it literally is down by your hips and then back up. So if you are in the seat, over the top of the seat to touch the floor and then back up. We're trying to, 45 seconds are on. You're trying to keep both butt cheeks on the floor. Posture is back, shoulder is back. If we can't get to the floor, that's fine. You're going to take it as far as you can. All right? As soon as you feel that butt cheek leave the seat, that's the end of your range of motion. Bring it back to center. Okay? Butt cheeks on the whole time. Like I said, the further you bring yourself to the edge of your seat, the more challenging this becomes because there's less of you that's holding that foundations in for the movement. So nice and controlled. Once again, it's all about those timings. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Lovely. There we go. There's our floor touch done. And once again, it's almost like a pendulum effect that we're trying to get out of that as much as we can. Okay. Next one we have is the leg extension, and I'll bring myself around to the side again. Remember, this time we want bums all the way back in your seats, and we're trying to keep our thighs, our hamstring area flat on the chair the entire time. So now we can see, just because of how long my legs are, I can't get them underneath my knees. That's fine, because I want my thighs flat on the chair. Then all we're looking to do is extend that leg into a straight leg position each and every rep, okay? Once you get to that straight leg, if you can, the next level up is to bring the thigh off the floor at that stage, okay? So it's really whatever is comfortable for you today. Remember, it's posture is king. So as soon as your posture breaks down, then we reset the rep, okay? So watching as an example, there's my extension, great. My extension when I bring the leg off causes me to fold. We don't take it that far. Keep the posture on. 45 seconds, off we go. And that's all it is now. Thighs on the chair as we straighten that leg as much as we can. And you can see just by taking a few glimpses of my own range of motion here, my legs don't straighten fully because of the incredibly tight hamstrings, the incredibly tight calf muscles that I have, those kinds of things. It makes it very difficult for me to take that full range of motion to straighten the leg. So I'm not going beyond my own capabilities today, and neither should you, okay? But if you are straightening the leg and there's no pain, that next bit, remember, raising the leg as well, and then bring it all the way back down. It's really, like I say, just taking yourself as far as you're comfortable today. Brilliant, leg extensions, done. All right, the next one we've got on our agenda is, once again, we're back to the ball, okay, or your prop instrument, all those kinds of things. We made it orbit our head last round with the halos. We're going to do what's known as round the world now, so we're going to make it orbit our entire body. So one of the things that makes this more difficult for you is, once again, just like the leg extensions, the more into your seat you are, the easier it will be. The more you bring your hips to the end of the chair, the more challenging this will be. All we're looking to do is take the ball, pass it behind the back, and bring it back out. And then we take it around the opposite way as well. That's all we're doing. Coordination, posture, keeping our root, so our bums and our feet flat on the floor the entire time. I'm just going to take myself slightly away from the Christmas tree. And that's it. Round the world, pass that ball round. 45 seconds, off we go. And it's all nice and controlled, remember. So the straighter you can keep your arms, that's what you're aiming for. Obviously, depending on your range of motion, depending on how tight your shoulders are, what your upper back feels like, those kinds of things will change this challenge factor. Nice and slow. Whoa, almost dropped it. Nice and controlled. Keep thinking about posture. Passing those shoulders into your back pockets. Keeping that chest pronounced. Keeping those ears away from the shoulders. There we go. There's our 45 seconds. The halo. The round the world. There you go, John. Go and have a seat, mate. Right, the next movement we're looking to do is some arm extensions. So punches, if you will. We've got our feet straight under our knees. We've got good posture. And we've got 3 different types of punch. We've got up, forward, and out to the side. Usually, the last few weeks, we've been doing them one at a time. But now we're just going to do double punches, okay? Double arm extensions. So we're going to start good posture. 2 out, back. 2 up, back. And then 2 to the side, and then back, okay? That's our whole routine. Forward, up, side. And we're just going to do that for 45 seconds. And once again, remember, it's not about the speed. It's about just firing straight ahead till you've got those straight hands. Back they come. Then it's straight up. Full extension up. Remember, once again, the shoulders aren't coming up to the ears. Back down. And then we go out to the side. Think about your timings. Maybe you've got 1 second. Maybe you've got 2 seconds, 3 seconds. However it is. 45 seconds, off we go. So I'm going with 2 seconds. 1, 2, hold. 1, 2. 1, 2, hold. 1, 2. And then out. 1, 2, hold. 1, 2. So that's my rhythm. I like the 2 up and the 2 back. Gives me a lot to focus on. It gives me plenty of time to make that full range of motion. And you're just controlling it out to the front. And it's not especially fast. We're controlling what the body's doing, not throwing it and hoping for the best. You got your last 7 seconds to go. See if you can match those arms at the same pace as well. Make sure one isn't going faster than the other. And there you go, that's time. All right, next movement is another one of those ones where it's all about kind of how deep your bum is on the chair itself, okay? The further away, the closer your hips are, your butt is to the edge of your seat, the more challenging it's going to be. So last time what we did is those leg extensions. This time we're doing knee lifts, okay? Now the important thing to distinguish here is that we are holding the knee at the top of the movement, okay? So wherever you start, whether you're right at the back of the chair or right at the edge of the chair, you're set, posture is set, you're driving the knee up through the biggest range of motion, and there is a pause, and then it's slowly brought down again, okay? And then we take it to the other one. So maybe we go 1, 2, there's a pause, and then we slowly lower it back down to the floor once again. We're figuring posture the whole time, drawing the shoulders back and down. It's an up, it's a pause, and it's a slow back down release, okay? High knees, your biggest range of motion today, off we go. Pause, slowly back down. We're trying to just utilize those muscles which are important that we forget about a lot. So with this lowering of our legs back down, we're all, I would assume anyway, we're all very dependent on gravity helping bring it down. And that's regardless of whether we sit down, I'm sure we all throw ourselves into the sofas, onto our swivel desk chairs, all those kinds of things, rather than lowering down nicely in control. So that's one of the things we're looking at here. It's one of the things we look at on that sit to stand motion. Just really concentrating on the return journey of every single movement. There we go, 45 seconds done. Okay, the final one we've got, we're going to need our prop again. We went around the head, we went around the body. Now we are going to draw a figure of 8 through our legs, okay? So there's a couple of ways you can do this. First and foremost, you are going to need a little bit of space, okay, between the legs, because we're basically just threading the ball through the legs now. We're keeping both our butt cheeks off the floor, not off the floor, well they are off the floor because you're in the seat. Keeping both of our butt cheeks on the seat the entire time, and you're just threading it through the legs. That's it, passing it under, over, under, hand to hand throughout the entire movement. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, add a knee raise as well. So when you're passing it underneath, the leg comes up. So rather than you coming down and folding, you're bringing the leg up to go underneath it. The leg up underneath it. So you're staying posture, you're combining the knee lift with that kind of coordination as well. Okay? 2 different variabilities, taking what suits you today and what feels good to you today. Off we go, 45 seconds. It doesn't matter which one you're doing, it's all about core right here. Core control throughout. So my posture is still drawing my shoulders back and down, for example. Okay? And each micro movement, my core is bringing me back nice and easy. With the high knee, same thing. The amount of core work going on to stabilize your body as you move it nice and slowly, which I know you all are doing nice and slow movements, deliberate movements throughout. That core is engaged and is supporting that spine throughout. Your last 3 seconds, 2, 1, there it is, good stuff. Excellent work. So we are through our entire 10 exercises. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to the top, go through them all one more time. Okay, so once again, we're going to go 45 seconds work, followed by 75 seconds rest. So the first of our movements, if you remember, was the sit to stand. And just as an added kind of challenge factor, if you want it, just because you've got your ball in your hand or whatever, We can think about controlling our knees as well. So one of the things that we want to be happening when we're making this kind of sit to stand motion is that the knees are staying parallel to each other, that they're not kind of going too far out or too far in. So to help with that, we can just pop something between the legs, between the knees, so it gives us a little bit of feedback, a little bit more to concentrate on during that range of motion. So if you wanted to add the pillow, the ball, whatever it is between the legs, that's fine as you're doing the motion that you were doing before. Okay, whether it is just the bum lift, whether we're doing the assisted stand, or even if you're right at the top of that scale and you are just doing the free stand. Okay, 45 seconds, off we go. But just remember, posture is king the entire time. So the entire time, every time you get back to the start position, reset the posture. Then think about it as you're getting your weight out of that chair and then back. Is my posture still set? Nope, let's reset. 1, 2, we hold 1, 2. Nice and controlled the entire time. Full standing. Once again, remember we're lowering ourselves nice and controlled at the end of it. 2 up, 2 down, maybe more if you're really going for it. There's our full 45. So, next one we're back on is we're back onto the twist again. Same situation. We start with the posture, led with the shoulder, then we bring ourselves back. Alternatively, if we want a little bit more at the end of that movement, as we get to the end, there's that push across the body as well. Now, if you wanted to continue holding the ball between the knees, it's going to continue to give you something else to think about. Keeping the legs, keeping the body engaged through the movements. If we can control those knees and bring them back under our control when we're doing our everyday tasks, that's a great thing that's really going to help. So, same with this twisting motion, even though we're not using the legs. If we're holding the ball the entire time, there's a little bit more for the body to think about. There's a little bit more of a challenge factor to be able to do it. And believe me, you'll feel when your knees are squeezing together, because that ball will definitely give you the feedback. And also if it drops out as well, you're going to appreciate that as well. So if you wanted to, you can carry on having it. It just looks super weird. During this movement from there, okay? So off we go for 45. So it's the twist. The shoulder leads the way. Maybe there's that extra push on out as well. The twist and the push on out. And remember, once again, it's nice and slow. This is a core exercise. We don't want any jerky motions throughout the entire motion. The slower you can do it, the better it will be. The more time that we've got under tension, the more that core is going to get out of it. All the way around, whoosh, and back. There we go, there's time. There's our twists. We're onto the calf raises again, those heels up to the ceiling. Remember, whether you're seated, whether you're stood or leant over, it's all about just bringing the heels as high as we can, holding them and bringing them back down. Once again, we've been playing a lot with a ball. If you want to add that factor to it again, it's a great way of seeing what your hips and knees are doing during the exercises, okay? Are they under control? Are they staying parallel the entire time? It's a great way to test it, and it's a great way to get those feelings into the mind, that code of what you're doing the right way. So we can keep that ball between the legs from the seat, as you see, up and down. You can even do it if you're still stood up. You can hold that ball between the legs, you're leant over your surface or the chair, or however you're doing it. If you're doing this from standing, up, hold, and then back down. Remember, it's that pause at the top of the heel raise that we're interested in. Let's get up to the top, let's hold it, and then slowly lower back down, okay? So we have 45 seconds, and off we go. Remember, start with the upper body posture. Once that's set, then we make the movements, okay? All the way up onto our toes, we've held it, slowly back down. Think about your timing. 1, 2, hold, 1, 2, back down, 1, 2, and then back down. I know how easy it is just to drop off at that last part, okay? You've held it up, the legs, those calves are burning, and you just want to let them go and disengage, but we want that slow return back down to the floor every single time. There we go, there's our 45 seconds done. Okay, let's turn our prop, let's turn our item into a comet, and we are going to make it just go straight round our head like it was being orbited. So once again, our start position, holding the pillow, holding your ball, cuddly toy, whatever you're using, elbows parallel to each other, and it just starts around the nose area and then round the head it goes one way, boom, and all the way back round and back. Mine's a little disconcerting because that face keeps staring at me the entire time, so I'm going to turn around that way. And that's it. Posture set, shoulder blades are backing down, both butt cheeks are in control, they're firmly planted in the seat all the time, good firm base with the feet as well. Once again, if our hips are towards the edge of the seat, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. So if we need to take it a little bit easier, draw the thighs back so we've got more contact with the chair for the base. Okay? However you're doing it, make sure you've got space around you. 2, 1, we got 45 seconds, off we go. And you're trying to draw the biggest possible circle you can around the head. Okay? We are trying to get all the way around like it's orbiting. We're trying for that item to not touch the head all the way around. Let's take a look at the side view as well if you want. Good posture. It's just drawing all the way around. All the way around. Nice and controlled. And we're almost done. Last 3 seconds. Done. Lovely stuff. And mostly when I run it. Nice. Okay, Milan, I'll message you about that at the end, okay? I'll put a comment in there afterwards. Right, so that is our halo. Great stuff. We're back to the floor touch. So once again, even though it's not a leg exercise, okay, if we want to continue to develop this kind of leg situation, go ahead and keep the ball there. Go ahead and keep that extra bit of control in there, that extra bit of feedback so you can see what the body is doing, okay, if you want to, obviously. And so what we're doing on the floor touch is we're trying to touch the floor under our hips. Once again, remember, full hips in the chair, hips on the edge of the chair, more challenging, okay? But all you're doing is that side pendulum motion as far as you can get down to the side and then all the way back up. You've got the arms of the chair should you need them. If you're stuck or you need a little bit of support to get yourself back up. But that's it, just side to side, keeping both butt cheeks on the floor. 45 seconds, off we go. Just a slight little side bend as far as you can take it. No jerky motions here. Everything's nice and controlled. Rocking like a pendulum. Think about your timings again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Control. 1, 2. Remember once again, if you slow it down, the slower you do it, the more challenging it becomes on your entire body. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Time, good. 45 seconds done. Floor touch done. Okay, back to the leg extensions. And remembering once again, we're just trying, our hips are flat on the, our butt cheeks, our thighs are flat on the chair. The posture is up. So however that lays our legs, fine. And all we are looking to do is that bottom part of the leg extension. You may find that your range of motion takes you a little way. Just a tiny little way. You might find that it takes you to a full straight leg extension, further than I can take it from there. It's all about kind of finding where you are today and continually challenging that range of motion. The more time we spend on a range of motion, the more code the mind puts in there on how to do it. The more consistently we do motions, the more code the brain builds up, the better we get at the range of the motion. The more we send the signals to our muscles, the more the brain tries its best to do work with what is there. So we want to keep doing these movements, we want to keep being regular and consistent with them so that the code builds up so we get better at those movements, okay? 45 seconds, off we go. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Boom. Boom. And if you can, what about a slight hold? And then bring it back down. See if you can hold it at the top of your range of motion before bringing it back down. Remember, if you are getting to the full range of motion with the straight leg, okay, think about that high thigh move as well. For that extra bit. See already, I can see on myself there. But don't let it break your posture. Okay, if you find yourself having to break posture to move it, there's time by the way. If you find you're breaking posture to do it, we don't want to do that. We want to do everything with good posture first and foremost before we break posture, okay? Okay, lovely stuff. We did the leg extensions. Now we need the ball again, get our prop. It's that round the world situation. So now that meteor is orbiting the body, round and round and round. So, setting our posture, depending on where your hips are, depends on your base. It's more challenging if you're on the edge of your seats, but it's just set up nice and straight. And then it's just that coordination thing. We're trying to keep the straight arms, trying not to knock the Christmas tree down and have an angry wife. Trying to keep those straight arms as much as we can through that range of motion, passing it, having it orbit all the way around. So you really are aiming to keep, let's see if we get to the side, yeah, we can get it. That good posture the entire time. There's your pass, boom, and then back it comes. So we are, and it's all going to very much depend on your range of motion in your upper back, on what you can do there. But whatever you're doing, it's 45 seconds and off we go. So notice how my shoulders aren't coming up towards my ears at all. I'm not kind of hunching as I'm passing it round. I'm forcing those shoulders down. I'm keeping them rolled back and down. And it's nice and controlled and slow. You've got a big squeeze here at the back of those shoulder blades together and then back round. We're almost through. You've got about 10 seconds to go. Fingers crossed we've not dropped anything yet. And we do keep switching directions one way to the other. Time, good. So that's our round the world movement. Onto our punches. So remember our arm extensions, however you want to call them. Once again, we can bring that ball back. We're not using the legs. Doesn't mean we can't involve them somehow if we want to. Holding that ball in place should we want to through the movement. You are stacking your feet under knees, stacking your bum somewhere further back, forward, challenging, that kind of situation. Remember, so it's 2 at a time. So it's 2 forward, 2 back, up, back, and then out to the side through our entire motions. Probably sick of me hearing it. Probably sick of me saying it. Posture, posture, posture. The entire time. Sitting up straight. Learning to be comfortable in that position. If this sitting up straight is uncomfortable for you, it's probably because you've not sat in it for a long time. So all the muscles associated with this kind of movement and this position, they're just not well versed in holding it. So the more time we can spend in good posture, the more that will change, okay? So 3, 2, 1, off we go. Arm extension, back, up overhead, and then we go out to the side, pushing the Christmas tree over, all the way forward, all the way high, and then push the Christmas tree over. And every single one, remember, it's all about rhythm. So whatever rhythm you're using, see if you can add the same trip speed forward and back through every different extension. Have you dropped the ball yet, or the pillow yet? Has your concentration gone elsewhere? Have you managed to hold it the entire time? How's your posture looking? Have those shoulders disappeared? Have they rolled forward again? Have they shrugged up to your ears? Keep checking in, that's time. Lovely stuff. Okay, so we go back to the high knee situation once again. And once again, remember, it's the pause that we're looking for at the end of your range of motion. And it is whatever your range of motion is today. So if you do have just like a raised heel, and that's as high and as far as we can take it, that's fine. If we've got all the way up to, I can't even get it up that way, all the way up to the chest, great, whatever it is, okay? But we're just looking to do the best that we can do today. That's all we ever ask in these classes, is we do the best and find the largest range of motion that we can. So the things to key on: how far can we push it, then holding it, and then slowly back down, okay? Slowly back down. If you're finding that still very difficult and you can't get enough range of motion, try bringing our hand into it to bring a little bit more range of motion into it, and then slowly bringing it back down to the floor, okay? If you wanted to bring a bit more range of motion in, we can still work that release back down to the floor by supporting it up from there, okay? 45 seconds, off we go. There's the hold and then the return back down. Good posture the entire time, and then all the way nice and slow. Almost see if you can take more time to bring it down to the floor. So let's say 1 second up, holding it for 2, and then 3 seconds back down. So really look to use that downward trip to be a little bit slower. And if you are supporting the leg to bring it up, then just slowly see if we can engage the muscles to bring it back down. There we go. 45 seconds done. Last one then is that figure of 8. Let's get our little bad boy back. Let's get our prop back. And remember, we're shuffling the butt forward or back depending on the challenge factor of our balance. We're also deciding whether to bring in that high knee as well for a little bit of extra challenge if you want it today. Basics is we're just passing it under the legs, okay? Swapping over the entire time. So that's all we're looking to do, the figure of 8. That's all you're doing, is drawing a figure of 8 through the legs. If you want to, you can take it one way once and then go the opposite way as well. So you are continually changing it or throwing the ball right across the room like that. But do as I say, not as I do. But the whole idea is maintaining posture, maintaining stability, and coordinating the slight movements to get that ball passed through and round those legs. Okay? So final exercise, 45 seconds, off we go. So you should be able to do this without looking down, I think. You know, you've all used your hands. I'm sure you've all passed something from one hand to another. That kind of thing. See if you can keep your eyes up and away from it the entire time. That'll certainly help with the posture element, because if we're looking down, chances are we're looking down, so our posture, our shoulders will break, which means if the shoulders are broken, the upper back will go, all those kinds of things. Whereas if we look up and we keep our chest high, that posture is going to stay up much easier. So see if we can keep that head up. 2, 1, lovely stuff. There we go. Figure of 8. Boom. Done. Okie dokie. That's 2 rounds done. Let's do some stretching and then we'll be on our merry way today. So first and foremost, I'm a big fan of stretching in the chair. Just because then wherever you are or whatever you're doing during the day, you can probably sneak in some stretching, because you do have to be very regular with stretching for it to become effective. Once a week after a class isn't going to help too much with things like range of motion, with, you know, flexibility, all those kinds of things. It's something you need to commit to and to do a lot. So if you learn how to stretch whilst in a seat, chances are you can do it whilst you watch Netflix, whilst you're working at your desk, whatever you do in a chair, those kinds of things. You can bring a few stretches in so you can do more than one set a day. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're just going to bring our legs as wide as we can, as far away from each other as we possibly can, and keep the knees over the top of the ankles. And then all I want you to do is forward fold as far as you're comfortable with. Now your hips might be far back in the seat, and that's fine. Your hips might be further up, that's fine as well. But you're just looking to forward fold as far as is comfortable for you today. Take maybe a couple of deep breaths in, and on the exhales, maybe you let the stretch go a little bit further. Depending on where you're tight, will really depend on what parts of your legs you feel stretches in. You might find it in your hip flexors, you might find it in your hamstrings, those kinds of things. So as we bring ourselves up, what I'd like to do now is just push your heels away as well a little bit from your seated position, and then same thing, you're just going to bring yourself down towards the floor again. Maybe your hands drive down your legs. At some point you'll feel the stretch come on, your range of motion won't let you go any further because of the mild discomfort, and then we just hold in that position. Nice big deep breath in. Maybe you take that stretch a little bit further before we bring ourselves back up. Lovely. Then we're going to bring our feet back under our knees, and you're going to push one foot forward and one foot back, okay? And you're trying to keep both of your feet flat on the floor. Let's get to the side view for this one. There we go. So I've got one foot, there's my start position. I drive one foot back and one foot forward. Both my feet, heels and toes are on the floor, and then we take another forward fold again. Okay? Once again, whatever your range of motion is today, that's what we're looking to do. But this time, the feet are further apart. Once again, we're trying to keep the knees parallel from each other, so that they're not coming in, they're not collapsing or anything like that. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves back up. Change which one's forward and which one's back, and then we return back down again. Nice controlled breathing. Mild discomfort in the muscles is as much as we want to be feeling today. So we shouldn't be feeling anything in the joints. And then we bring ourselves back up from there. We're going to take the hands behind our back next, probably behind the chair as well. Connect the hands and just push them down and away from your shoulder blades. That's going to force you into that good position, that good posture position. Nice deep breathing, maybe take it a little bit further. And then we're going to take one hand straight out from to the side, just drawing it across the shoulder line. Once you get as far as your range of motion will let you go, then we pull it on in, okay? We don't want any twisting round. We don't need anything like that to pull the body round or anything like that. It literally is just as far as your range of motion, and then hug it on in. And then we're obviously going to go ahead and do that with the other one as well. So just drive that arm out all the way across the body. Notice it's not coming up towards our ear or anything like that. It's across that shoulder line, and then squeeze on in. Once again, there's a multiple bunch of different areas where you might be feeling this, depending on where you're tight today. Keep the posture in effect. Good work from there. Okay. We're going to cross one leg over now. So I'm going to start with my right leg. So over one it goes. Whichever side is currently crossed, okay, you're going to take that same hand, put it on that leg. And then what you're looking to do is just take yourself in a twist in that opposite direction. So your body is twisting the opposite way to the leg which is crossed. So my right leg is crossed over my left leg, and I'm twisting round to my right. Putting a lot of pressure on my leg to keep it away from me with my elbow. Trying to keep both glutes on the seat as well. And then we're going to bring ourselves back once again nice and slowly and do the opposite to that. So now I'm going to cross my left leg over my right. And now my right hand is going to take me round to the opposite way as well. And back on round again. Good stuff. Okay, thank you very much for your time today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, this is a class for you and others like you. So if there's anything you're finding challenging, anything that is too much or anything that's not enough, either let me know in the comments or drop me a DM. Chances are, if it's affecting you, that it's going to be affecting others in your kind of same vein. So we can look to keep changing and adding things and taking them out to make these classes better for you. Let us know either with a like or a comment on the videos, whether you're here or on the YouTube channel. Let us know you've been by. It takes 5 seconds to do something along those lines and lets us know what's going on there. So it's just a click or a touch, let us know. If there's anything else you need out of the classes, if there's something interesting that you've seen or read, those kinds of things, let me know. Chances are, if it's nice and new and exciting, everybody will love a go, because otherwise you're just going to have to put up with what I got in store, haven't you? But the more into kind of to and fro we can have, the more we can personalize these workouts for each and every one of you. If there's any problems or any issues that you feel have come out of today, then please refer back to the neurologist or your nurse or the physio, whoever you're dealing with down at BrAMS. Any change in your kind of symptoms, those kinds of things, they would love to hear those things from there. I think that's about it. So I'll say goodbye, have a good week, and we'll be here same time, same place next week. Bye!